Hey, cousins. Why everybody getting hurt when your day is long? Doom, 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 doom. And the night is yours alone. When you're sure you had enough of this life, hang on. Mm. Don't let yourself go. Cause everybody cries. Everybody hurts sometimes. Y'all like that? Y'all know you know I like to serenade my cousins. I bet you sitting there like, child, I did not press click to hear that bullshit. I want to know why everybody getting injured. Now I'm gonna give my theories. The main reason why everybody getting injured is because there's no more house shows. And what were good about house shows? Well, that used to be the place where the wrestlers would go. First of all, hang out, chill. You know, you ain't got to dress all up or whatever the case. You ain't got to put heavy makeup or a whole bunch of foundation for the fellas. You go in there, chill. You know, you put on a show for a more intimate setting. I've been to a few house shows. Um, and that's where you could practice new moves. That's where you could practice new feuds. That's where you could continue to get your muscle memory. That's what Stephanie, not Stephanie Child. What is her name? Nikki Bella. My bad. Stephanie, listen. Stephanie Vaquer and her champions, I love it. Stephanie McMahon and her bitch ass can't stand it. See, and that's just, and my name is Stephanie too. It's too much. Nikki Bella this past Monday had a very rough ending to her match. And the reason why is because she claimed muscle memory is what made her throw Chelsea Green off her shoulders and onto her neck and head because her neck and head is sewn and stitched and glued together to her body. So she couldn't do a rack attack like she used to do. Now, had there been house shows, had there been somewhere she could practice, and I'm sure there's plenty of places where they practice, she could have came up with a better finishing move. That's what makes these things, when they're not on TV or untelevised, important to the pro wrestler. So here's a couple other things that I think play a role in wrestlers getting hurt. Yes, age. Yes, age play a role. So you have to slow down. You have to be more focused on your moves and more impactful. Also flukes, because Liv Morgan's shoulder got dislocated and bust all out the socket. It's a complete fluke. She just landed on her shoulder, right? Seth Rollins did a moonsault, land on his feet, whole kneecap blew out in the back of that goddamn knee pad. It looked like he stuck the landing. If Seth Rollins was doing something in gymnastics and landed like that, it would be tens across the board. But in pro wrestling, it's devastating, right? Remember when CM Punk, was it CM Punk? Yeah, he came down, jumped in the audience, took his whole fucking ankle out. Right now we had Adam Cole. Apparently, they said his concussion so bad the man might not be able to wrestle no more. Even he jumped and just did something simple and jumped off of the ring, took his whole ankle out, ended up in the wheelchair in the storyline. Other reasons why there's a lot of injured pro wrestlers. The physical nature of the sport. We got that. No one's dumb. It includes a lot of athleticism, performance. You understand? Getting physically exerted. A lot of hands-on movement, right? We got that. Wear and tear of the same move over and over and over again. Got it. Wrestlers perform high impact moves like slams, throws, and aerial maneuvers, which can lead to injuries like sprains, strains, dislocations, and fractures. Real pain. While wrestling is scripted, the pain from the physical exertion and contact is real. A lot of wrestlers are a danger to themselves, right? Example, Jeff Hardy. I was looking for this clip. There was a clip, and one of y'all gonna tell me what episode this was for AEW. He had just came back, him and Jeff, and they were doing something. They was in like the foyer or the walkway of the arena, and they were at the top of like a doorway or some type of stair well, and they jumped off and landed on boxes and was completely fucked up. Not to mention Matt, he jumped off of steps and landed on his fucking head and had a concussion live on TV. Training intensity. Wrestlers train intensely, including cardio, weightlifting, drills, which can cause injury. Cody Rhodes blew his titty out down to the training. They added that in there to get your ass on board because he's wrestling with a busted pec. That was because he was down there working out. Accumulated wear and tear. The effect of repeated bumps, falls, and impact throughout wrestler's career can lead to long-term injuries and chronic pain. It's true. Watch Dark Side of the Ring. A lot of wrestlers get hooked on pain meds, get shots and things like that to get through the pain because it's for the business. Yeah, them wrestlers went through a lot to not only make money for themselves and their family, but to also entertain. A lot of these wrestlers have pain fetishes. Jon Moxley, Swerve Strickland. There's no need to staple your tongue. And there's damn sure no need to drink blood. Ring environment. The ring itself, including the ropes, is a hard surface, and wrestlers must be skilled at absorbing impact to avoid injury. Hence, Seth Rollins. Hence, Liv Morgan. Right? Bianca jammed her fingers up. There's a way to hit the mat. I fell before and braced myself and damn near took my damn back out. You ever skate or like be on ice skates and you know how you about to fall and you get stiff and your back hurt? Well, learning and watching wrestlers, how they fall loose and open their arms up and just hit the mat and brace themselves. Or if you see when there's a tsunami coming or some type of 450 splash and you see the wrestler squeeze their body together and brace themselves for the hit. Now, I did notice Trish Stratus didn't do that, and fucking Tiffany Stratton did her moonsault and landed all across Trish Stratus's face. Other examples or contributing factors, I would say. High risk moves. This is where Mark Calloway said, I ain't doing that. Modern wrestling often features high-flying acrobatic moves, increasing the potential for injury. If you know how to do it, do it. But if you do it too fucking much, don't. Now, Seth, I have to talk about Seth Rollins. You're getting older, fella. You might have to lay off on the lion salts and shit because your knees are literally made of eggs. Individual wrestler styles. Some wrestlers take more risk, which increases the likelihood of getting busted open. Demanding wrestling schedule. Frequent matches, travel lead to fatigue and increase in injury. Again, WWE will lead you to believe that they took off the house shows to give the wrestlers more of a rest. That's a lie, because now they got more PLEs. It was for them to save money. They don't give a fuck about these independent contractors. Lack of recovery. Some believe there's a problem without workout recovery and rest, potentially leading to more injuries. The reason why when Roman Reigns came back on Monday night, he looked better than everybody in that fucking ring is because Roman has a schedule that anybody would dream of. He comes, he does his 4 moves, he looks hot and sexy. You won't see him for another 6 months. Roman Reigns wasn't lying when he said, Seth, you wish you had my schedule. You work more, get paid less. I work less and get paid more. You can't make that shit up. The approach to the injuries is basically you could use it as a storyline, like Seth Rollins. Sometimes the injury's too much. You got to just lay it out and not come back, like Adam Cole. Or they can implement more safety and precautions, like protecting the wrestler from themselves, Jon Moxley. Right? So, with that being said, I just think that there's a lack of um there's a lack of extra movement and activity for the wrestlers. They need to always be moving. You need to add a few more house shows to their tour. I see now why there were so many untelevised shows. This is where, and I heard, and I tell you, a lot of the pro wrestlers said they love the untelevised house shows because that's where they could really let it all hang out. They could mess up, they could play around with the crowd, they could show their personalities and stuff like that. That was one thing about COVID that a lot of the wrestlers loved. It was just like a glorified house show. Hence why the bloodline and other storylines during COVID were actually more compelling because there was nobody there to fuck up the flow. Also, these wrestlers are so dedicated to their craft that they're wrestling with already nagging injuries. Kevin Owens and his neck, Tama Tonga, Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio, Otis. I said, where Otis at? Apparently, he's battling old injuries. Ilya Dragunov, he got fucked up. Drew McIntyre has old injuries. Chad Gable just went in for knee surgery. Um, it's a lot. Zoe Stark, she got injured, I want to say, from a lack of good decision making. Because honestly, she moved in a weird way and literally put her leg behind her head. Again, Liv Morgan landed directly onto her elbow. A move that she's done multiple times, blew out her whole fucking shoulder, right? Rhea Ripley is tender. Rhea Ripley don't wrestle like that. So when she does wrestle, I see where she puts all of it on the line because you won't see her wrestle again. But she been getting injury. She had the ocular injury. She had injury to her arm, like her ass. It's like never ending. Um, what's his name? Again, Seth Rollins and his fluke injury from doing a move he does all the time. Buddy Matthews over in AEW, fantastic wrestler. Always said Buddy Matthews has probably one of the best physiques in the business. He hurt his ankle. He been out. Orange Cassidy's been out, torn pec, right? Sky Blue just came back. She had a leg injury. Juice Robinson. Eddie Kingston, listen, torn ACL. Adam Cole just basically concussion city. Head all fucked up. And those concussions lead to CTE, Alzheimer's, dementia. Again, a lack of house shows for both brands is causing issue. A lot of people are saying you got to bring back the house shows, even if it's just 10 a year, to make sure the wrestlers are able to continue to hone their craft. You have to keep practicing. It's like continuing education for a nurse or a social worker. Now, if you are dedicated, like Natalia, Mercedes Moné, I'll say I seen Bailey in the ring. I seen B Fab in the ring a lot. I see Charlotte Flair don't never stop exercising and in the ring. A lot of the wrestlers, they're always finding somewhere to wrestle. Be it another promotion that's independent, or they at the down there with Natalia and her mat and her family's ranch or whatever they got going on. You know, if you're gonna do it like that, then you always be ready and conditioned to handle impactful blows. But if a good example, if a football player sits out and then he gets in the regular season and immediately gets injured, the question has to be: was he exercising? What was his condition like? Is he on drugs? Again, this is all my speculation and some other ideas from the internets, but I do think all of them are valid. And it sucks to have to rehab and, get your bones and your ligaments and stuff back together and go under the knife repeatedly and thing like that. Look at Bill Goldberg. He wanted a farewell match so fucking bad that he done injured himself again. To be honest, if it's a fact, he was already injured when he was in the ring. So he was already fucked up. He said, I'm coming in there, with skin and bones, but I just got to get into the ring. Gunther's lucky he didn't get injured. But I'm going to leave it right there. Y'all give me your ideas on why everyone's getting injured, and I'll get back to you.